Good evening, everybody. Welcome to today's session on how to manage stress in your life. We have our eminent speaker, Ms. Sakshi Saraf, with us today. And Ms. Sakshi is an expressive arts therapist, she's a psychologist who has worked with several children and adults within the field. She's also conducted a lot of workshops and seminars, a lot of sessions as well uh, on the subject of mental health. She's the founder of Open Mind Closet, which is a mental health awareness platform. Sessions, seminars, and activities on the subject. They also provide services of counseling. So, Ms. Sakshi, we're really delighted to have you. And,
Thank you.
thank you for joining us. And we'd like to commence the session with our first question, which is can you define the term stress and how can we understand it in our daily life?
So I think stress in the first place is a combination of physically and emotionally feeling tense. So, for example, let's say your exams are approaching. You know that in future I have to study, which requires a lot of energy. Your mind needs to be focused at that one place and attention. So it requires a lot of attention and energy, right? So you need to change your actions while to prepare for those exams. So this combination makes us feel more tense because there's something which we're looking forward to, which is actually something which we do not know if actually we can take care of. So all this together makes us feel stressed. And the second question where you said that how do we understand stress in our daily life. So I think when it comes to daily life we need to actually understand whether it's healthy stress or it's unhealthy stress. Healthy stress is absolutely fine. We all end up feeling it. Let's say we're doing what we like to do, and there's a project that's coming up in your work. So we're looking forward to it. We do have stress, we do feel stress about it, but that's okay because it's a healthy stress. We're not actually, it's not harming any problem to our body or our mind. However, when it comes to unhealthy stress, I think that's the problem that causes that disturbs your day-to-day functioning, which is the main problem here. So, as long as you do not feel that there's any disturbance or problems in your day-to-day functioning, the stress is fine. Also, stress does leave a lot of signs. It drops signs to actually recognize those signs. So to understand stress better in daily life, you need to pick out, you actually need to, focus on those tiny signs that stress is dropping. For example, if you feel by the afternoon, let's say if you feel that you're very low on energy, or you feel like you want to cry, or you're not able to handle or cope better. So these are those tiny signs which represents that you're going through stress.
Okay, right. So that was a great answer. And I feel that when we incur a stressful situation, we tend to sort of forget that we have to remain mindful and perceptive of our reality, right? And that kind of pushes our thoughts and emotions to override rationality. And since you briefly talked about the signs, do you mind elaborating on the same?
I'm sorry, what?
Since you briefly talked about the signs, do you mind elaborating a little on the symptoms or signs that
Yeah,
us
the
that
symptoms, the signs. So there could be signs like so physical symptoms could be feeling fatigue or low on energy, like I said, feeling tired or sweating, body pain. These are physical symptoms or physical signs. Emotional signs could be uh, crying spells. It could be not able to cope better, or it could be a behavioral sign where you're trying to cope but you're not able to do that what you're trying to do. So all these small signs are very important.
all right. Thank you for bringing it to our notice. Uh, Now we'd like to move on to our next question. So, according to you, how many times is overthinking a leading cause or reason behind?
I think putting a number would be really wrong. I can't do that. But yes, overthinking is not the fairest thing to do to your own self. If you're thinking about something, that's great. You know, we're supposed to ponder on what we're doing, our actions and our thoughts. That's a great thing to do. However, if you're overthinking, stress kind of becomes a byproduct of overthinking here. So, you're overthinking, obviously, your mind and your body is exhausting. And it doesn't depend how many times you're overthinking, but you start to doubt yourself. That overthinking leads to you doubting yourself, which is not correct. When you start to doubt your own capabilities, I think that's when you need to stop overthinking, or that's when you need to take a pause that, okay, you know, right now I'm going to take a break. I know it's mine. I can't really get hold of that overthinking, but I'm going to pause right now. I'm going to give myself a break. It's okay, relax. And then maybe carry on because overthinking is something very hard to get hold of. So I'm sure you must have noticed with your own self. We all notice it that you know we start with that one thought, and somehow it leads to some other direction which is not even related to it. So there we need to work. As long as it's not stressing us, as long as it is not making us doubt our own capabilities, it's okay.
Right, right. So do you also think that stress could cause mental illness or lead to a mental disorder?
Definitely, stress itself is very dangerous. It's not the most healthiest thing to have, and
Hmm.
stress can lead to a lot of issues. I think the most important one is anxiety. Stress is like half of what anxiety is. So, if you're feeling stressed, it's like the first few steps of anxiety. If you're feeling stressed, eventually, stress is also, you know, like you're scared about your future, right? That, okay, I have this work to do, and I'm feeling stressed whether I can do it or not, or doubting our own capabilities. Similarly, anxiety is also about, you know, anticipating your future. So somehow stress leads to anxiety. And then anxiety can be a part of you feeling sad, which could lead to depression, could lead to a lot of problems. It could lead to mood disorders. So, yes, stress leads to a lot of mental disorders.
Okay. So as I briefly, spoke about, I mean, that was a good answer. And I said that, we forget to remain mindful of the current situation when stress occurs. So do you think that it distorts our overall understanding of just the present, or can it also put us in a different mode or phase altogether to anticipate, the worst possible outcomes the way anxiety does? Like, can you just
I think
draw
I'm
correlation?
sorry, you're not audible. Your voice broke.
Yeah, just to draw correlation between stress and anxiety and elaborate on the same. Could you please do that?
Yeah, sure. So, feeling stressed is that, you know, your body and your mind is feeling tense. And it's a part of anxiety. How? So, when you're feeling anxious, you have symptoms like which are very similar to stress, for example, sweating, palpitation, muscle pain, having headaches, feeling overwhelmed, having hot and cold behavior, feeling hot and cold. So all these are signs for stress also, and all these are signs for anxiety also. So they're on a very similar note. Why again? You feel stressed because you're not sure if you're capable or if you can actually handle a situation well as you planned in your mind. And in
Right.
anxiety also, uh, you're actually very scared of the future. You're trying to, you get very scared about if I can actually do that, if I'll be able to hold that situation well. It's about the future. It's anticipating, being very scared about it. So I think that's how they go hand in hand. I always tell my clients that, you know, if you feel stressed, try to work on it. Like you said, that you know there are a lot of things you can do to handle stress. There is mindfulness meditation, being mindful of how you're feeling. There are other, you can go out for a workout, you can, you know, like go for a bubble bath or a therapy where you feel better, because stress is like the first main problem leading to anxiety and other issues. So I think that answers your question.
Definitely, and it was really informative. So, and now we'd like to move on to the fourth question. How can we strike a work-life balance when it's stress or any stressful situation?
So, considering the situations right now, the COVID, before COVID, yes, the work-life balance was very difficult because, we were traveling, we were working, we were coming back, and then we had to take care of our entire life, our personal life. However, I personally feel that, because we're home right now, so it's a little better, even though we are working more, even though the working hours have increased. But I personally think that, the balance is better. And when it comes to research actually proves, that if there's work-life balance, stress is reduced. But at the same time, there are certain things to remember to have that work-life balance. The first and foremost is having boundaries, forming boundaries. I think because of COVID, because of working from home, it's even more important to have boundaries. That okay, if my work starts at 9 and it is supposed to end at 6, this is the boundary I'm drawing. This is when I work. Apart from that, I do not work. That's my time. That's time for my family or whatever you feel like. Then I think saying the no is very important. Most of us, when we're working in offices, we have our own jobs. We feel that, we can't say no to our seniors or, they might just get offended. It might delay our promotion or something or the other. However, again, saying a no is very important. I think this adds on to your work-life balance, which is more important than what you're earning or anything, I feel. Then managing your time. Let's say if there's somebody who, for a 10 a.m. job, gets up at 9:55. Of course, you wouldn't have time for your own self because the time management is really bad here. So that is one thing we need to focus on. And lastly, if people still feel that, they're doing everything correct, they're trying everything, they're trying to strive work-life balance, still not able to attain it, I think they should definitely seek therapy because it helps you to compartmentalize everything for your own self.
Yeah. Correct. So that was a brilliant answer once again. Uh, this leads us to our next question. How do you cope with relationships and bonds when stress occurs?
So it's understandable that, when you're feeling stressed, you respond differently than you generally do. If you're feeling stressed, you might respond in a very frustrated way. You might respond because you're feeling overwhelmed. So your response is very different from what you usually do. However, I think the key is to stay connected and to give the time. So what happens is when we're stressed or even when we're overwhelmed, there are two things. If we're processing something, there's a flight, there's a fight response. So these are the two main responses, and most of the time we work towards fight. We snap at people that don't do this right now. I'm so frustrated. I'm really busy. However, we need to think before we actually give a response. We need to think what we should say and then respond to a situation. Our parents always tell us, right, that don't listen to reply, listen to understand. I think it's very similar here. When you're feeling stressed, think of the relationship. Do not think about you're feeling stressed and you're responding to something. Think it through. And like I said, staying connected is very important. And I think if you're with your partner, I think talk about everything. If you're feeling stressed about something, talk about it. How you're feeling, talk about that. How certain things went, and you could have done things differently, talk about that. It's very important. Express your, true feelings, your deep feelings. That is very important. So if
Yeah.
you do that, yeah,
Mhm.
I'm sorry.
Keep
So if you
continuing.
do that, Yeah, so if you do that, I think the relationships and bonds will eventually get better and you would feel less stress because you're talking your heart out. And I think we all must have experienced stress by now. And if we're stressed and actually talk about it, we
Mhm.
feel relaxed. We feel that there was a huge stone sitting in our chest, which is now out there. So I think that's how you can improve your relationship, and that's how even when you're feeling stressed, you can still handle your relationship and bonds with a lot of care, and you can nurture it.
Okay.
So yeah,
I think the key takeaway from this particular answer is that we should learn how to respond than to react in these.
yes, definitely.
I think a lot of people face a lot of trouble remaining um, rational in such circumstances. Because as I said, the emotions they tend to override rationality. So, what can be done to tackle that, or what can be the baby steps or the incremental steps that can be taken to tackle this particular thing?
So I think I personally believe that to handle stress better, to handle any situation better, like I said, you need to respond and not react.
Right.
So uh, it's very difficult to do, but I think we should really think about it that okay, because we think that like okay, response and reacting is the same thing, but they're two different things. Responding is where you pause, you think, and then you respond like okay, this is what I feel. However, reacting is whatever the first situation, whatever the first emotion was, you just snap it. I mean, if you're feeling sad, you cry. If you're feeling frustrated, you shout or whatever. However, we need to take care of that. Then, I also believe that, to handle stress, I think mindfulness meditation really helps. Any type of meditation or breathing really helps. Uh, I personally have actually understood that, deep breathing really helps you when it comes to stress, anxiety, even when you're feeling overwhelmed or you're feeling angry, because stress does lead to either making you feel overwhelmed or angry. So, in these situations, I think uh, deep breathing or mindfulness meditation helps you a lot. And also, most of the time, especially there are a lot of people who, because we're at home, we're working throughout the day, we do not have any physical activity. So I really suggest that, people should go out, walk a little, run a little, or, do any physical activity which you like, which you enjoy, because it releases your hormones, your stress hormones, and it really helps you.
Right.
So yeah.
That was a good answer. Thank you. And this takes us to our last question. So, can you share some more strategies and ways to foster stress management?
Definitely. So, one thing which I actually tell my clients is that, make a happy place for yourself. So we all have made our workstations, right? So we can probably do this one activity, which is that, you collect all the art material, which is colors and whatever you like there could be newspaper clippings, and make an image which, like, you close your eyes and you think of a happy place. Whatever comes to your mind in the first place. Let's say when I close my mind, I see mountains, I see snow, and I see, like I like to be in places which are peaceful. So I draw something like that. I make a collage or a drawing which makes me feel relaxed and peaceful. And I make that and I hang it on the wall over my workstation. So this actually helps you to feel better. It makes you feel safe, and this eventually will lower down your stress levels. So this is one technique that you can practice. The other one is a shake off, which is my personal favorite. So whenever you're feeling stressed, whenever you're feeling anxious, because stress does lead to anxiety, so do a body shake off. So you start shaking off your hand, then the other hand, then your entire body. It's like, jumping with
Hmm.
shaking off all your body parts. So that does wonders. I mean, it might sound funny right now, but if you ever feel stressed, just try that. This really helps. And then again, like, going for walks and
Hmm.
mindfulness meditation, guided meditations, all these things are really helpful.
Thank you for sharing this with us. I'm sure everybody feels a lot more informed about how they
Thank
can manage.
you.
And we'll take up a few questions of the participants as well. So feel free to drop in a few questions. Okay, so there's one question by Jirusha. Some days I sleep a lot, and yet is it a sign of stress?
You need to see the question. You're not audible.
Should I repeat it?
Yeah, please.
Okay. So there's a question by Jirusha. It says, some days I sleep a lot, yet I feel tired. Is it a sign of stress?
Yes, there could be a sign of stress because, like I said, there are physical signs which stress does show us. One of which is that you feel extremely low on energy. And most of the times we actually ignore it. We feel like that, okay, probably because, the last 2, 3 days were very hectic, which is why I'm feeling low on energy, and we sleep off. We sleep off the entire day. However, what you need to do is to take charge of it, actually think what is the thing that is causing stress and work on it. And if if you're feeling low on energy, I would really say just go and take a bath,
Mhm.
eat something, and start working. In these situations, when you're feeling stressed or when you're actually feeling that you want to sleep the entire day,
Mhm.
uh, a banana really helps. It helps you to lower down your stress level and it gives you a lot of energy. So I think that should be a great idea.
Thank you for answering this. Here's another question by Sneha. Does coffee provide relief in stressful situations? Could you hear me?
No, I couldn't hear you.
I'll just repeat it. Does
I'm so
coffee
sorry.
provide relief from stressful situations?
It doesn't. It's a myth. Coffee, for that matter, in longer run, actually adds on. It makes you feel anxious. It makes you feel more stressed. So, if for shorter term, yes, it might help you, but in longer run, it doesn't help you.
All right.
So, yes.
Okay, Sneha, I hope question. Here's another question by Amrita. What to do when my friend is under stress and becomes arrogant?
I would personally say, Amrita, that having doing the activity together, where the two of you could form your relationship again, would really help. Like if she's going to stress, I think talk to her. I mean, talking is the best solution. Ask her what is actually making her feel stressed. Because a lot of times this happens that you're feeling stressed because but there is nobody to share it with. You get angry, you feel arrogant, you feel there's a lot of frustration. So I think you should talk to her first thing. Second, do activities together, which kind of brings the two of you together as friends, and it will help to actually improve your relationship, and it will also help her to feel less stressed.
All right. So I hope the question is answered for Amrita. And, here's another question by Ujjwal. I overthink a lot, which ultimately makes me stressful about imaginative situations. How to cope with this?
I think we actually spoke about this, how overthinking leads to stress. Yes, overthinking is not a very healthy thing to do. So, like you asked, that you overthink a lot, and ultimately it makes you feel stressful. So, I
Mhm.
think you're overthinking because somewhere you doubt your own self. So I think the more important issue is what makes you doubt your own self. Why is there doubt? So I think you should be working on that first. That have you done something before which is actually leading to you doubting your own self? If not, the best thing you can do is take a task on yourself which you think you can do that task, complete that task. It will give you that confidence that you need. And when you have that confidence, you'll realize that, you've started to feel less stressed. And eventually, um, you won't be overthinking as much as you usually did. And Other than that, if you're still feeling stressed, I would highly suggest for mindfulness meditation or even deep breathing. Even if you're taking 5 to 6 deep breaths and focusing on your body and your mind together, it would really help.
All right. So hope that helps, Ujjwal. And here's another question by Syan. We take medicines if the situation becomes intolerable.
Yes, there are medications that you can take. However, you do need to go to a psychiatrist or a physician and tell them your symptoms. And if they prescribe you certain medicines, then yes, you can take those. Other than that, it's not legal to take those pills.
Right. Absolutely. That clarifies a lot of things. And I personally had a question to share with you.
Yes.
Is it like to explain the correlation between type A and type B personality and stress? Maybe you could, talk about the types as well.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you. Your voice is breaking.
I was wondering if you could explain the correlation between the type A and type B personality and stress and how it occurs.
There is. So, there are different, so type A and type B are two different personalities. Personally, I believe that, comparing them is not a good idea. So I won't be comparing the two personalities. However, yes, type A is the personality type where they handle situations more confidently and they handle it really well because they believe that, and they don't share it because the people who are onto it. They believe in doing everything by themselves. So even if they're feeling stressed, they somehow they suppress it. They do not really show it. However, type B, I believe, are the types where stress and anxiety it kind of comes out in their behavior and they realize it. So both the types, I believe, needs if you're feeling stressed, needs therapy, or you could actually do the activities that I just suggested, which is mindfulness meditation or the happy place or the safe space I was talking about. These things would help any personality type or anybody for that matter.
All right. Thank you for answering that. And are there any uh, the participants can still ask a few questions if they wish to. Wait for So we don't have any more questions, and that brings us to the end of our session. Thank you so much, Ms. Nashi, for your valuable insights and for sharing the relevant information on the subject. I personally feel a lot more informed, and I'm sure everybody else does too. So thank you for joining us. Thanks to the audience for engaging.
Yeah, thank you so much for inviting me. It was really grateful. I'm really grateful to be here, and thank you the entire audience. I think you actually brought out some really important and insightful questions. So thank you,
Thank you so much.
thank you. Bye bye.